Once again, we're back with moremetal.com here in Berlin at the Lido Club with Clutch.
Hi, this is PitCam TV and moremetal.com, and we're here with Neil Fallon of Clutch.
Airstreams tethered together like silver sleeping oxen. All the best locations are located on the margins.
What I want to know, is there any subliminal content in your lyrics that nobody, absolutely nobody has discovered yet?
I don't think I'm smart enough to include subliminal lyrics. I think lyrics sometimes you can read whatever you want to into it if you're looking for it. I mean, sometimes I have some play on words, like kind of an inside joke for myself, but it's usually, sometimes I don't really know the exact answer myself. I just know it sounds kind of cool, so there's no message really to it. It's just kind of take the piss a little bit with some inside jokes. Yeah. That's about it.
Alright, so what about 50,000 Unstoppable Walks? Anthrax, Ham Radio, and Liquor. You have a story to that?
Yeah. The band rehearses in a town called Frederick, Maryland, and that's where our drummer lives. And we play at his house, and we practice very close to a U.S. Army base where the U.S. Army does most of their chemical weapons stuff. It's very spooky, and so after recording the music, I was listening to it in my truck on my way home, and passed the Army base, and was thinking about Anthrax and not the band, and I was going to the beer store, and in that neighborhood there's a bunch of ham radio towers. I think it was back from the Cold War, because it was a military base. A lot of guys were into ham radio for civil defense. Not anymore, it's just kind of relics. And that line popped into my head because of all those three things. And that's where I ended up with the chorus for that song. And then tried to build a story around it about sort of, the people that live outside the margins of society, waiting for something bad to happen, kind of looking out their blinds, anthem of paranoia, I guess.
Paranoia, right. You did a video to this song?
Yep.
Whose idea was it?
It was Jeremy Hunt who did the Burning Beard video, and we had a situation where the band was on the road, and so we couldn't stop and make a video, and we didn't have a whole lot of money or time. So he told me to go out and get one of these little $200 flip video cameras that just has a USB in it. So I filmed the band in the basements of various nightclubs for a couple weeks and sent it to him on the internet, and he edited it together in California, and that was it. So we actually never even saw each other physically until the video was done and aired months later.
Anthrax, ham radio, and liquor. Anthrax, ham radio, and liquor. What if I told you they've been lying?
Do you actually think the video transferred the song alright?
Sure. I mean, to me, I'm not really... It's hard for me to come up with a video concept because I don't think that way. And I kind of trust the judgment of other people to kind of tell me what to do or what not to do.
Alright. One question to your music. It has become more traditionally sounding, more blues orientated over the years. Fewer anger than before. Is that a direction you wanted to go, or has it evolved naturally?
I think it's naturally. We don't ever talk about the direction of the band. We just kind of get together and make music, and if we don't like something, it disappears. But if we do like something, we kind of keep developing it and developing it. I think that the evolution, kind of stepping away from anger, for me, one is age. And two, anger's too easy. It's the easiest thing in the world to be angry and shock and scare people. Anyone can do it. I think it's much more difficult and vital to do something that has more artistic meaning. You know, whether or not we're doing that, I don't know, but I do know that I'd rather not fake anger. I see that a lot with a lot of bands. It's just like they get up on stage and they're, look, you know, I'm really angry for the next 90 minutes because that's what I'm supposed to be. I find that to be kind of insincere. And also, I think kind of learning more and more about music, we realize there's so much more to learn. We're just one tiny band in a tiny genre of a very long tradition. So anything that we listen to is going to influence us.
Okay. Do you have a plan of pushing boundaries or going further with your music, or is it just like we want to get better, or we want to do what we want to do?
I think trying to improve and get better is a big part of it. When we first started this band, I didn't know how to play guitar, and then kind of slowly learn, and I'm still learning. And I think the minute you start thinking that you've mastered something is the minute you should give up, because no one's mastered anything. If you've got to take chances and risks to learn, and I'd rather take a risk and fail than just do the same successful idea over and over again.
Coming at you live. Coming at you live.
So, do you have any musical aims? Maybe get a Grammy or
Yeah.
something like that.
Nah, I mean, sure, that'd be nice, but that's not in our mind. You know, we're very grateful for what we have, because we get to make a living playing music, and that's something a lot of people struggle all their lives to do and never get to. This is the only, if you want to call it a job, this is the only one I have, and that's awesome. To me, that's success. I'm not interested in hanging gold or platinum records on our wall. I don't think that'll ever happen for this band, because we're not, the kind of music we make isn't going to appeal to enough people, and that's okay. That's fine. And I think I think one of the other goals that we have is going to new countries. We want to go to South America. We've never been there. We'd like to go back to East Asia, maybe go to Greece and Israel, Turkey. We've only really played Western Europe, Australia, and North America, and that's for me the funnest part, is meeting people, and just it's a great education, I think.
Is there a difference in people's reactions in different parts of the world?
Yeah, I mean, usually when you give people, when people start drinking beer and then they turn down the lights and put on a bunch of loud music, everybody acts the same, whether it be here or Australia. Some crowds are more conservative. I think the Dutch are very kind of polite and don't talk in between songs. Whereas you go to Texas and you stop a song and people are screaming at you and throwing stuff at you. That sometimes it may not even be countries. I think city by city is very different. Berlin is a lot different than plenty of the other cities in Germany, and they're almost like people with their own collective personality.
Okay. Is there any weird stuff that happens on tour?
Weird stuff?
Weird stuff? I don't know, like fans acting weird, or asking silly questions, or...
Oh, sure. I mean,
or
usually what happens is, if you do the show and then you hang out in the dressing room for an hour or so afterwards and you walk out and it's now 1:30, 2 in the morning, the people that are still hanging out are the drunkest ones. So they're always going to ask really weird questions.
for example?
Can't think of any off the top of my head, but I think maybe sometimes there's so much weirdness that I have a tolerance to it and I don't even recognize it anymore.
Oh, okay.
But for the most part, we try to keep things pretty simple and not have too much excitement.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. Right on.